In the stunning and remote Highlands of Scotland, expectant mums face all sorts of challenges.
With such a remote area, how on earth am I getting an air ambulance in?
With hospitals few and far between, the role of midwife here is key. She forms a close and unique bond with all her mums-to-be.
I knew this one was going to cause me problems.
It's not causing problems, baby's absolutely fine.
Sometimes by their side full term, all the way to delivery.
It's a boy! It's a boy!
Sometimes passing them onwards when things don't go to plan, where another friendly face will be waiting to help them through.
Keep coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Come on, I can nearly see this baby's head.
Midwives think on their feet,
I have my trumpet.
rise to some extraordinary challenges,
Have you ever used gas in your before? No, okay.
It definitely helps.
It's hard work, but it's satisfying work.
What do we have?
Morven is my knight in shining armour.
They are the stars of the NHS.
Very rewarding being part of this amazing experience in somebody's life.
And for her, it's the best job in all the world.
You're doing it. In 20 years in the job, it still amazes me every single day that I see a baby born.
How are you today? Oh, you're just so gorgeous.
She is the Highland Midwife. In the far north of Scotland is Tame, a small town of 4,000 people, which has been served for the last 20 years by midwife Morven.
Working in community for a long time, you see people having their babies and then moving on and having another baby, and how they develop into parents during that time is quite a rewarding experience. Well, the next person we're going to see is Emma, and she's already got 2 children. This is her 3rd child.
What would we do without Morven? We like Morven, don't we? We do.
The size of Emma's baby has become something of a family joke.
I'm telling you, it's £11 little boy.
£11 baby. No wonder I'm in so much pain all the time.
I definitely think it'd be about an 11-pounder.
But with 4 weeks to go, the baby's size is no laughing matter for Emma.
It's okay for people to say, oh, it's just another big baby, it's fine, but then you stand up and you feel everything drop and it is heavy and you are waddling and it is uncomfortable.
Midwife Morven realises that Emma is definitely concerned.
Emma does tend to worry about things. The baby, yes, it is on the bigger side, but our last baby was quite big as well, and basically you just rule out that there isn't anything wrong. We've been getting uncomfy now.
Yes, very uncomfortable. The other half thinks it's hilarious. Yeah.
The best way for Morven to gauge the size of the baby is to measure the distance from the top of the uterus down to the pubic bone.
About 40. That's quite a bit higher than the other day.
Yeah, it's taken a right growth spurt.
Ladies have their growth charts here, and we check the babies are growing or according to a centile that we'd expect them to grow at. And sometimes babies get accelerated growth. Sometimes that can be because there is a little bit extra fluid around the baby, or sometimes it's because the baby's grown a bit. But we'll send you out for another scan and just check what's going on.
Emma is measuring 4 weeks bigger than expected, and the baby will grow even more.
Just seeing that there, that's just sent me a little bit scared. Measuring at 39 weeks when you're only 35 weeks is a little bit scary.
In the far west of Scotland, the 6 midwives of Campbelltown have to cover an area of 400 square miles, which makes life extremely busy.
Hi, good morning, Campbelltown Maternity. Helen speaking, can I help? I'm off to see Susanna this morning. I looked after Susanna all the way through her first pregnancy and her birth, and we're now getting very close to birth number 2. I'm just making up my bag, my measuring tape, to make sure that baby's growing appropriately for gestation. My Doppler, to hear the baby's heartbeat. I have my trumpet. I'm taking a torch in case there's a power cut, because there was a lot of power off last night here.
The weather this morning is, if anything, worse. So even getting to mum-to-be Susanna isn't easy for Helen.
I'm going on foot today really because of the weather. The weather is really awful. My colleague is away out with our kind of four-wheel drive. Susanna lives up quite a tight hill, so the forecast was to be a bit grim and icy, so I thought, you know, it might be easier just to walk.
Susanna is only 23, but already this is baby number 2. And for her, that's just the start. She's one of 6 and wants a big family herself.
All through school, I never really had a boyfriend. I just was looking for a husband. So when Daniel came along and he said that he wanted a big family and he wanted to settle down, I just thought, I'll have him. And he's one of 5, so I knew he was fertile.
We both thought large numbers, and 6 is the magic number. That's what I want, that's what Susanna wants, so we're going to aim for it.
Who's at the door? It's an owl! Did you have a nice walk?
With 4 weeks to go, midwife Helen is here to check the baby's growth.
You're the baby.
You're longer
That
this
way?
way
Yeah.
as opposed to that way.
So I need to get rid of my ribs, is that what you're saying?
If we could remove a few ribs there,
Okay, great.
give the baby much more space. Stretch, baby.
Oh no, it got smaller again.
A few centimetres short, Susanna. Feels good, but let's just be safe. I still think it wouldn't do any harm, Susanna, just to get a wee scan. If you think that a baby is not growing, then you need to have a scan pretty much done within 48 hours. You can't leave it. If we go by these measurements, then we have to act on them. What we don't want is a small baby that will be compromised at birth.
As a midwife for 20 years in this part of the north of Scotland, Morven has seen the tragedy as well as the happiness birth brings.
So Karen's just about 31 weeks pregnant with her second baby. Unfortunately, she lost her first baby at 16 weeks due to Edwards syndrome. And Edwards syndrome is a problem with the chromosomes, so therefore it means that the baby doesn't develop properly. So most babies with Edwards syndrome, they'll either miscarry or be stillborn, die during the pregnancy.
That's what happened with Karen's son Wallace. She left the maternity ward with only a memory box.
It's something that I wouldn't wish anyone to go through. You never go into giving birth to a child to bury them. And the devastation of having to leave the hospital empty-handed after he was born. I like to think that Wallace is always with us, that he's watching down on us. Yeah, and I hope that he would know that just how much we love him. And that he'll always be our first. Sorry.
Karen's partner, Daz, regularly visits a tree of remembrance where Wallace is commemorated along with many other babies who died prematurely.
I was working down Glasgow area and I got the phone call off Karen that something wasn't right and to come home, and she kind of sort of briefly explained things on the phone. I can't say I've ever felt anything like that before. It sort of, all emotions took over. I phoned my mum to let her know I'd be coming straight back up the road, and I completely broke down. And I think it's the longest 3-4 hour drive I've ever had. I never thought I'd be that attached to something so early on, but yeah, I've never experienced anything like that before, and it was quite traumatic.
Karen's mother, Rona, is helping them prepare for the new arrival, but she knows how hard it was for Karen the last time.
You couldn't take away her pain. That pain that was so deep. And no matter how hard you tried, there is no way you could take it away from her. You can help her, but it still leaves a tiny piece of your heart broken and missing.
As her midwife, Morven has kept a close eye on the anxieties Karen has about this pregnancy.
But always in the back of your mind, she's always wondering if somebody or something will come and take this baby away from her like last time. Our job as a midwife, obviously reassuring her that the pregnancy is progressing well and keeping her both physically well and mentally well. Hi there, how are you today? I'm fine, thank you. Yourself? That's you 30 plus weeks now, that's great. Huh?
I know, it's a bit surreal.
It's lovely, it's just reassuring just hearing you.
Oh, it's just lovely, yes.
And you're getting plenty movements?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in the early days we were terrified that someone was going to take it away from us again, from being through what we went through with Wallace, having a perfect scan, and then the devastation of finding out something was wrong. There was just all these really negative, heartbreaking milestones to get through. So we've had sort of multiple miscarriages as well. So initially in the very, very early stages, it was getting past where we'd lost little ones before.
Do you feel a lot of the anxieties have gone now?
As the end approaches, it's the sort of the birth anxieties, which I'm sure every mum goes through. It still feels very surreal. So I can't quite believe it. We've made it this far.
To give Karen some extra support, Morven's asked her to the hypnotherapy class she runs at the local health centre.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. The only thing that you need to do is listen to my voice, and as you do, you will become calm and relaxed. Sometimes when you have somebody that's lost babies before, it's important to keep our mind well as our physically, our body.
I think it's going to help us to not obsess and panic over what happened in the past. And we're going to get a baby to take home, not a memory box to take home.
Susanna and her mum had to travel 3 hours from Campbelltown to the city hospital to get her baby's growth scanned. She knows midwife Helen will want to hear the news.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still following the same line it's been following, and it's £5, 14 ounces at the moment.
Well, it was really important just to get that green light go ahead. Getting the all clear about Susanna's growth scan was great. You know, on palpation, it felt nice, but it was just getting those measurements and box ticked, and I'm really pleased.
Susanna's now on course for the local birth she wants here in Campbelltown with her midwife.
Hi!
Hi, Ellen!
Hello!
Nice to see you again.
You too! Hi!
How's life?
Oh, look at it go. My goodness. It could happen.
I know, 2 weeks today, so
Anytime
now.
Anytime now.
Our second labour's quite different from the
Yes,
first.
they're quicker. This time you will so know. And it'll just be, I need to phone. I need to go. The only difference is that your waters can break without labour. Keep an eye on the colour, because if it's nice and clear, it's fine. But if it's green or it's brown or it's anything other than crystal clear, then you phone us up. You have 48 hours in which to go into labour from the time that your waters broke. So if you think things aren't really happening, and that's a good time, get out to the beach.
Oh, so if my waters break, nothing's happening, go out a walk.
Get out there. You've got baby's head, and you've got this, usually this wee pool of water underneath, and then you've got the cervix. And once that pool of water goes, wee head comes down. And the pressure of that wee head will open the cervix. So
the more movement,
the more movement you get. That's why we suggest uneven ground, because it kind of is making the hips go to Westport and heave along that beach.
Let's get this baby out. Let's get this baby out.
When I was pregnant with Sol, we came here and I went into labour that night, so I think it was around my due date right enough, but I think it probably does work, walking on uneven sand.
We both want it to happen as soon as possible. It's just you struggling up the slope.
Oh.
And I don't really want it to be tonight because the Super Bowl's on. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with that, but if it does, so be it.
Couldn't have just walked round it, could
No.
you?
That would be common sense.
On another beautiful beach in the north of Scotland, Mum Emma's big baby is still the subject of family jokes.
I'll just point and go, you're fat.
I just point and go, you are divorced.
Like to try and set records in the family of baby sizes.
I got it. Oh, you got it.
The pains and that are getting to her now with obviously carrying such a big baby.
I'm coming as fast as I
run.
Yeah, I think she's kind of had enough of them now.
can. See when this baby's out and I can run. These are all getting it.
Emma tolerates the jokes, but is finding her big bump increasingly painful.
Paul! Good girl, thank you.
Midwife Morven understands why Emma is finding it so tough.
Emma's got some what we call pelvic girdle pain, which means that her pelvis is really uncomfortable. And because the baby's head's sort of down and pushing that part, means that she's really uncomfortable all the time. And sometimes when you're uncomfy all the time, you start to think there's something wrong. Hi there. How are you doing? Oh, that sounds a bit rough, the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the birthing ball is quite good at this stage of pregnancy because it can relieve a lot of the discomfort. A lot of people like to labour on the balls as well.
So is it best just rocking backwards and forwards like that?
Some people like doing little circles.
I can't.
You know,
I don't
do a
feel like
circle?
my
No.
bump will let me do a circle.
Emma's first two babies were also very big, and in both cases they were delivered by cesarean section. These operations are now complicating this birth.
The problem is when ladies have had a section before and when they've got a scar, very occasionally the scar will start to give way towards the end of pregnancy or in labour. We want to be sure that it's not the scar that's giving way, because that would be quite dangerous for the baby and for mum as well. Because obviously if it started to tear inside, then mum could start to bleed and the baby wouldn't get fed quite so well and things. That would be dangerous for mum and baby.
Morven's reassured Emma, but knows if there's any further concern, Emma will attend the hospital over an hour's drive away.
See you later.
Morven.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye now. Take care. Any problems, give us a wee shout. If somebody had a scar that was starting to give way, it'd be really imperative they were in the hospital quite quickly, because that person would need an emergency operation to save our mum and save baby.
To me personally, Morven is my knight in shining armour. She's someone that is always there on the other side of the phone. She's just great. Be lost without her. I really would.
With her due date coming closer, another of Morven's mums is feeling anxious. Karen lost her previous baby, and now that's the fear in her mind and in her partner Daz.
You just don't know how many miscarriages you can go through. We try and remain as positive as we can, but thankfully this one is now only a few weeks from birth. We've got this far. We continue to go to the end, and we're positive enough that we're going to have a wee one at the end of it, all nice and healthy.
But a chance meeting between Karen and Morven has given the midwife real concerns.
Last Saturday I met Karen in a car park actually. She'd got a bit of headache and I said, oh, how long have you had that? She said, oh, the last few days. Because this is a symptom that you can get with preeclampsia, and we're always asking people, do you have any headaches, and just make sure their blood pressure's okay. I'd say to her, look, I'll just check your blood pressure and see. And her blood pressure had crept up a little bit. So we're just going to see her at home today and catch up with her and see how she's doing. Hi, babe. How are you today?
Not bad. How are you?
Come in. I'm good, thank you. And have you been feeling okay?
The headache's still there in the background. It's never really cleared.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, feeling okay.
Uh-huh.
Ready to meet her now.
Yes.
Yes. The eviction notice has been served, I'm telling her.
And any visual upset?
On and off, yeah.
And did it last for long?
Sort of 5-10 minutes, and then kind of disappears and then comes back. And
do you know what you're looking for?
Yeah.
If that starts happening again?
Yeah.
150 over 98. A bit higher than I'd like.
With Karen's blood pressure so high, Morven decides to check the baby's movement isn't a concern.
Is this baby moving plenty?
She's not moved an awful lot today. It's not unusual for her, that though. She's not the most active of babies.
We'll just recheck your blood pressure again and see
Okay.
what it's doing. Sometimes after a wee minute it'll go down.
Yeah, sometimes it settles.
Okay, that's sitting about 160, over 100 just now.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit
Too high.
too high for you, you know. The other thing that slightly worried me is you're saying you're not feeling the baby move quite as much today.
Yeah.
I know you're saying that's not maybe too unusual, but we must be very, very careful for movements when we've got high blood pressure as well.
Okay, even more so than normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even more so than normal. So I would say probably you need to go back up to the hospital to get checked.
Okay. No bother.
Okay, I'll give them a wee phone just now. Hi there, it's Morven, one of the community midwives through in Tain. I'm with Karen Begg just now, and her BP readings today is 150, 98, 160, 100, 160, 100. And she's also getting a bit shaky now, where she's feeling her hands trembling a couple of times during the day.
Okay, so I think we might need to see him.
Are you able to go up just now, straight away?
Oh, this is serious. We kind of need to go, and we need to go now.
Don't be hanging around though.
Just pull the beast out and we'll just jump in the cash guy and away we go.
Karen's partner, Daz, grabs an overnight bag. They face an agonising hour-long drive over country roads to the hospital. Morven thinks when Karen gets there, the hospital will need to act.
The bloods start to go wrong, so their urate levels can rise, their urea can rise, and their kidney and liver function starts to decrease. And she might get another 1 or 2 days of pregnancy, but I anticipate she'll probably be in juicer for the next few days. I don't think she'll get much further in her pregnancy.
In Campbelltown, it's midnight, and Susanna thinks her baby is coming now. So she's driven down with her husband to the hospital.
Slow, deep breath, Susanna.
But midwife Helen isn't convinced the baby's on its way.
I think they probably have come in too early. If, say by 3, if things are really quiet, then I might suggest that they go home and snuggle at home. And then we all can resume later on if required.
Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Things can stop-start. You know, she could have this and go to sleep and sleep all night. It could be tomorrow night, it could be the next day. And I've seen it so many times. Because at home you're just not sure. It's a second baby, you don't know what to expect. Everyone tells you it's going to be quicker. And then it's often the case. You come in and things just go off the boil.
It's just impatience gets the better of you. I'd love to have patience at this stage, but now I just want to meet my child.
Okay. I've examined her and we're not in labour at the moment, so she's quite happy. She's going to go home to bed with the wee soul. And it's difficult to know what will happen. It could stay like this.
It'll be a long haul. She was hoping it was going to be a quick one. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. Well, I just have to wait and see.
So that's them away home, and I'll go home and get some sleep and hopefully see them in the light of day.
Will deliver for the 3rd time in this hospital in Inverness. It's where her Highland midwife sends mums to be if an operation is required. Emma's pain from her previous cesareans is now a real issue.
I was back in hospital on Monday with abdominal pain. That's when they decided that we'd bring the date forward and get baby out quicker.
Emma is increasingly anxious. A consultant has confirmed her scar tissue might tear.
When I got told I was high risk, it was a big bombshell. Tired, anxious, nervous, because something could be wrong with my baby. Just want it out. Come out, come and see the world. It's waiting for you. So's your brother and sister.
Emma has been frantically trying to get hold of her husband, Bob.
I need him here. I've already messaged him telling him to come up now, because I couldn't do this without him. I need him here.
And Bob is aware now just how worried his wife is.
2 text messages since she left, and a wee phone call saying that they're just waiting on me, and I'm in the dark when it comes. I won't find out till I go and see her, and then we'll find out what's going on.
It's a bit more riskier than what we thought, though. Just because it's a 3rd section and all the scar tissue, and we're breaking through the same nerve endings, and my bladder and my bowels and all of that. They said that my scar was so stretched that I probably wouldn't have lasted the weekend. It was really stretched, so I just thought it was just going to be another section, but because it's the 3rd one, it's a bit more risky.
There's not much I can really do bar sit and comfort her and keep her happy. The nerves are kicking in a wee bit, just waiting now, yeah, till I'm shouted upon to go in and...
I'll see you on the other side.
At this stage of the procedure, partners don't go into theatre until the spinal anaesthetic is effective.
She's been going through a lot of pain and that, so someone will come in, someone grab me and then head through to theatre.
At her desk back in Tain, it's not an easy moment for midwife Morven.
In the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, you know, Emma's having her op today, hope everything goes well. And then afterwards, if we get a minute, we'll maybe check the computer and check what she's had. So yeah, we're just waiting with anticipation till I come home and we get to see them again and see how they get on.
This is ready. Okay, ready to go.
But if you actually sat and listened to all the risks of caesarean section, you'd never want to have one. So the more caesarean sections you have, the more adhesions that are there, and obviously there can be more and more scar tissue in the uterus. So there is a slight risk of the more babies that you have delivered by caesarean section, of that being a bit more complicated.
An hour after the operation began, Bob emerges from the operating room.
When I first went in, Emma was really nervous. It was quite a busy room, but no, everyone done their job brilliantly in that.
Mummy's so sore over the past couple of weeks. Yes, you have. And this is Tommy John Hutton.
Just got to meet our new son. Absolutely delighted.
Don't know how you could love something so much when you've only been with them for a few seconds. You finished? How cute was that?
Oh, it's like reaching for the sky and bringing you with me.
His head's shaved, he's blonde. Then it comes through ginger. Got Ed Sheeran hair. I can't laugh, it hurts.
Emma's hospital birth has ended well, but she's missed her Highland midwife.
Not having your community midwife with you while you have a baby is hard going anyway, because they're with you through everything. They know you, they know when you're feeling over paranoid or when you're feeling overwhelmed. Or they are the stars of the NHS.
Obviously it'd be nice to be there for the birth, but it's not possible all the time. So yeah, we're just look forward with anticipation, like all the other members of the family, of seeing this baby once the baby arrives.
Earlier, Karen's high blood pressure and the fact she sadly lost her first baby, born a stillbirth, convinced midwife Morven to send her straight to hospital in Inverness. It's a frightening moment for Karen and partner Daz.
You're just thinking the worst, but trying not to. It's always little bits going through your head. Something going to go catastrophically wrong.
The high blood pressure, the tremors, seeing flashing lights, visual disturbances, things like that. So it was starting to swell up, sort of puffy face. So yeah, it was starting to hit all the markers for it. Preeclampsia.
With such a dangerous condition, the hospital induces Karen, and 2 hours later, Katie Louise is born.
You're causing all this chaos. Oh, bless you, darling. Another one? Oh. What do you think? Yeah, we'll get Daddy to do the night feeds.
It all happened so quickly that it completely caught out Karen's partner, Daz.
Doctor came back round and says that they were going to monitor the situation. So it was getting about 9 o'clock, so I decided just to head home and we'll see how it goes and take as it comes in the morning. By the time I'd managed to get back to the house, she'd text me to say that they'd made a mistake, they were going to induce her that night. So I dumped what I was doing and headed straight up, made it up to Ward 10 to speak to the midwife that says that she thinks the baby is already here. So I kind of panicked a little, thinking, oh no, Karen's going to kill me. And I'd arrived for her first cry. I'd missed the birth, but I'd arrived for the first cry, which I've never felt so much emotion coming over me, and I broke down in tears.
Are you going to play the pipes down the street? Is it Daddy come take us home? Hey, honey. It's Daddy. Hey. How are you?
Not bad, you?
Not bad at all.
You know one.
Still just can't believe that she's ours.
Special wee girly.
Both Karen and Daz know that living in the same small town as Morven has been a lifesaver.
Then the first time we kind of bumped into Morven, it was random in the car park. Oh, your blood pressure's awful high. Definitely averted a crisis by keeping me calm, and which is obviously the best thing for my blood pressure, which is what preeclampsia is, high blood pressure. Caused by you. That was a cure, deliver you, wasn't it? Our whole journey, she's really appreciated where we've come from and just how every baby's precious, but just how extra precious this wee one is.
Are you dreaming?
It's hard to take your eyes off her.
I know, you can't. That was me all night, lying watching her.
And just once we get them home, we can start a family together. Start a new chapter in our life. Mummy done good. Mummy do good. Let the madness begin.
I know. This is where the fun starts now.
Or you're just going to look doodles in there.
Oh my God.
Come on, baby girl, we're going home.
After last night's false alarm, Susanna and husband Daniel are back at the midwife unit in Campbelltown.
Trying to get as much rest as possible today, knowing what's coming up. So.
Hi.
Midwife Helen arrives at this critical point, with labour now firmly established.
What we'll do is we'll get the exercise ball and you can get back to your exercises, but we'll find a dark place for you to sit in.
There we go. The fastest delivered ball in Campbelltown. Oh, honey. Just sink into that ball.
But when Helen examines Susanna, she finds a new problem with the baby's position.
The baby is what we call a bit asynclitic, and I think that's been the problem all along. It kind of makes sense of the fact that you've had these contractions for hours and hours and hours. The baby's trying to get into the right position to come down this way. It should come into the pelvis on its side and then rotate round. In a baby that is what we call asynclitic, basically the head just hasn't anteverted in. So this bit gives a lot of pressure on the pubic bone.
Is there a position I can get into that'll help?
All fours, all fours. There are certain positions of the fetal head that can't be delivered vaginally and normally, and there's nothing that we can do about that. In this case, probably all fours. Try and get that little baby's head to tilt forward.
Susanna wants to use the birthing pool to relax and encourage the baby to move.
Last one.
Baby's still trying to get round, but she's getting there. It's the waiting game. Back to the waiting game.
And Susanna is determined to see the birth through just as she did the last time, without pain relief. Susanna has had contractions now for 24 hours. She's still not using pain relief. Midwife Helen has been waiting for her baby's head to turn into the correct position in order to give birth.
Obviously things have, as the contractions got more powerful, baby turned and I'll just scoot back in. Susanna, slow it down. That's it, breathe. Blow. You can hear she's sounding quite expulsive now, so hopefully it won't be too long. Gently, lovey. Good girl. Good girl. Breathe. Coming up. Good girl. Up the hair.
It's a boy! It's a boy! Oh,
29.
Good boy.
Yeah, and you just go in between the two, and it's tougher than it looks.
And just...
Yeah, just snip away. Oh, in one slice.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Angus. Happy birthday to you.
We can call him Angus. Angus Bruce.
Oh, that's a
My
good
uncle.
strong Scottish name.
That's Helen gone for another baby. Helen Isabella had high hopes.
A second son. Hey.
I'm just exhausted, but kind of on a high at the same time.
I did it!
You did it! Number 2.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Helen happily sends Susanna and Daniel home with a healthy new bundle of joy. In the north of Scotland, midwife Morven is making her first visit to see Emma since her baby was born by cesarean section in hospital.
He's in his basket.
Oh, basket, let's have a looky.
Where did you find the hair? I don't know.
What a head of hair. Oh, what a darling. So what's he called?
Tommy.
Tommy. Oh, that's nice, Tommy.
Despite Emma's concerns about the baby's size before the birth, little Tommy arrived at just £8 10 ounces. But Emma also received some sad news while in hospital.
Pretty much said that no more babies for me. She said the scar on my womb was so stretched. She's like, I'm glad I brought it forward because you probably wouldn't have lasted the weekend. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Okay.
So there was something wrong. But we weren't planning any after him anyway, so makes no difference. Just makes it a bit more final, doesn't it? Yeah. 3's definitely my magic number.
Morven knows how upsetting the stillbirth was last time for Karen, so her first visit to see her baby is particularly special.
Some people call them rainbow pregnancies because it's a pregnancy after losing a baby. I mean, it's lovely when you know a baby's been very much anticipated and wanted for a long time, and it's just nice to be part of that magical time.
Hi there, how are you? Congratulations.
Oh, look at the wee dolly. Oh, she's just perfect, Karen, isn't she?
Just like have a wee look. Hello, little kitty. She's just your perfect little baba. So she's letting us eat, she's letting us sleep. Yeah, she loves going for cuddles to various people.
Yeah, they like cuddles because they've been cuddled inside for so long. We do, don't we? And what else could you do in a wet day that's wet and miserable outside but sit and cuddle? It's lovely just to see her at home. It's a great job, you know, just completing your care and just seeing her so happy with her wee two.
Morven's been really good with Karen. She's always had an ear there for Karen to speak to. She's got so much knowledge. She's definitely one of a kind, Morven. She's one of the best midwives we could ever have asked and hoped to get.
Especially in the early days, had just huge levels of stress and worry and anxiety. She was just amazing. She never made me worry about it at all. And it could have been really, really scary, especially with our background, having already lost a little one. It could have been really terrifying, that. And Morven gets that. And she appreciates just how special this wee one is. So it was lovely that she's been able to complete this journey with us and see our rainbow that last year we never thought we'd get.
Because I do live in a small town, I'm very lucky that my midwife was always my midwife. Morven's just lovely. We'll still be bumping into each other, but I won't be seen again through pregnancy. Who's this? Oh, cuddles.
Maybe when I was in labour I might have reduced the numbers, but we're back up to 5 or 6 again.
The midwives here, I mean, that was one of the reasons for having it local.
They knew the experience we'd been through the last time we saw, so we wouldn't have had that if it was someone who didn't know us.
We've said all along we were aiming for big numbers, and this is us a third of the way.
Next time, midwife Morven looks after a mother who didn't realise she was going into labour with her first child.
Because I don't really feel contractions until they're too late, I'm worried that we're going to end up getting stuck having a baby in the car.
So just being the usual fun.
Midwife Donna has a mum with potentially serious health problems.
He's been a bit quieter this morning.
Oh, has
Yeah.
he? Okay. Baby's movements are baby's way of sort of telling us that everything's okay. When a lady reports reduced fetal movement, she needs further investigation.
And midwife Helen helps a mother get the home birth she's always wanted.
Well done, Claire. You're doing it. Oh!